Hello, hello! My name is Erica Henry and I run Art by Erica H and Rebel Stitchers, and you are on the Rebel Stitchers YouTube channel. And Rebel Stitchers is not your grandma's fiber and quilt shop. We do things differently here, like upcycling commercial yarn and turning them into bats and roving, utilizing my laser, which you may hear running in the background, to make some of our wooden products like nitty natties, looms, pin looms, lots and lots of things. Dizzes, they're one of my favorite things that we make. But yeah, so I started this YouTube channel to start documenting this business. I love doing it for Art by Erica H. So I want to bring you guys along. We have lots and lots of fun things planned. Today is kind of a studio diaries type day. I've got a lot of Gulf Coast fleece. Man, that's hard to say. Here that was raw. I processed it, washed it, scoured it, picked it, you name it. Ran it through my drum carder, which is new to me. I'm getting used to using that. It's not something that I've had very long. However, I found that it does not remove a ton of the vegetable matter, or VM, as you see it called a lot online, as you can see. So unfortunately, I've got to reprocess these bats, and I'm going to use my handy dandy combs that I made. They're ugly, but they work. So I'm going to take all these bats today, break them back down, comb them really good, and then run them back through the drum carder and hopefully get most of this vegetable matter out, because it's been a process. It's been a pain. But I'm still learning. I've only been spinning for a few years. Started out on a drop spindle. Now I have built a spinning wheel. With my health issues, that spinning wheel I couldn't use very well because it was very hard on my hips, and I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which causes joint dislocations and subluxations. So it was hard on it. So I finally broke down, bought my own wheel, Ashford Kiwi 3. And I love it. I use it all the time. But my favorite part of the whole spinning process is dyeing up fiber and turning them into beautiful bats and rolags. So I started having people want them, so that's kind of how Rebel Stitchers became Rebel Stitchers. So now I make them for other people as well as myself, and we have lots of fun with my bats and rolags. I love playing with color. I love adding lots of texture and just really making a really cool art bats, though any of my bats can be spun in lots of different ways. You don't have to make art yarn for it, but that's what I envision, because that's my favorite thing to make, because I love to weave, and I love, love, love having the art yarn in my weavings. So yeah, so I was trying to avoid having to comb all of this, but fiber prep is not, there's no shortcuts, unfortunately. I tried. It didn't work out. So I'm going to break all these down, use my combs. They're ugly, but they work. I made them myself using nails and wood, and yeah. One day I'll have a nice pretty set, but they work for now. So. But I wanted to bring you guys along for the journey. I'll probably do a time-lapse type thing over some music. I'll stop and talk here and there, but we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Right now the laser is running. I said you probably can hear it, but I am cutting out some lap looms because I need some for my websites. I've ran out, so I've got to make some more. And I'm hoping to also today get together some of my commercial yarn and put them together in some like bundles, like for weaving. So kind of make a cohesive set for weaving, you know, enough to make some small projects. And because that's how I got started with weaving. Bought a loom, I bought a little gift set type thing that had a bunch of different pieces of yarn in it, so I could create a weaving right away. I didn't have to go out and buy a bunch of yarn that I wasn't going to use, and so I want to offer that at Rebel Stitchers as well. This piece is a little bit felted, so, and it's pretty full of vegetable matter, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull it off. There's a little tip that's broke, go ahead and pull it off. Go ahead and get that little guy. So as I work through, I just kind of help things along when I can. This piece is a little bit felted. We'll go ahead and toss it. And how many times you put it through the hackles really varies from lock to lock. Depends on how dirty it is, how matted. So I just kind of do it based on feel and wear until I get a nice fluffy cloud. And until as much of the vegetable matter as I can get out has been removed. Since I can see these easily, they're on top, I'm just going to go ahead and pick them out using my tweezers. Since they're right there and I can see them. These little neps we'll go ahead and pick out because I can see them. If you didn't know how much work was involved on preparing your beautiful row legs and stuff, we haven't even made it to that stage. So I don't even know, probably should, how many hours of work go into the beginning stages, but it's a lot. But I thoroughly enjoy it, so. There's another little felted nep, or noil. I never know the difference between the two. I call them neps. I know there's a difference, but I may be using the wrong terminology because fiber arts is a whole different language. Like, seriously. There's so many words that I had never heard of before until I got into it. See what this is looking like. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to pull this off. Throw it down into the bin. And then at some point I will decide if it's going to go ahead and go into bat form, or if I'm going to put it on the hackles and go ahead and turn it into roving, which is probably what the direction I'll take, because I've got to do that step anyway. I can pull roving off of the drum carder, which is why I'm kind of debating on using that. I haven't decided. I hope that kind of gives you an idea of the painstaking process it is to process fiber, but it's so worth it. Could I have put these bats through, went ahead and dyed them as they are? Yes. But I want to produce a great product for you guys, so that's why I'm doing these extra steps. So I'm going to finish going through all of this. It's going to be a while. You don't want to hang out for all of that, but I will be back once I get through it all. So we have some Gotland fleece here with my drum carder. This fleece has been, actually these fleeces, because I got 6, have been a big pain to get through. It's turning out to be wonderful, wonderful fiber. Like, I love it. It's so soft. It is a beautiful color. I can't wait to dye it. The pain has been that there was so much more vegetable matter, as well as some felting in some of the fleeces, that it is taking me absolutely forever to get through. Way more than I had anticipated. There were tons of burrs and just so much vegetable matter that was hidden inside that I didn't see. Like, I saw some of it, but there was a lot more than what I had bargained for. But that's okay, lesson learned. I should have inspected better. There was just so much of it that I knew some of them had quite a bit of vegetable matter, but I didn't realize the extent of it between all of the fleeces. So I've been processing this for months. Absolute months, between washing and everything. It was a lot, but I'm getting gorgeous, gorgeous Gulf Coast fiber here, and I cannot wait to dye it up and spin it. But I like to be honest with you guys. I want to give you all of the goods, the bads, the uglies. This fleece I got at a pretty decent price. It was from a shepherdess that doesn't spin herself, so that was a big part of it. And this time it was sheared by a meat sheep shearer versus the lady who had done it before, because the lady that had done it before was booked up. So, you know, the shepherdess was extremely honest with me about all of that, so I knew there would be, you know, more second cuts and those kinds of things. But the biggest part that has taken forever is mainly the amount of vegetable matter that has been in here, because I like to get as much as possible out. I don't mind if every now and then you find a little piece, because that's just part of it. I mean, these are live animals and they roll around in hay and get dirty and eat vegetable matter. And they eat vegetable matter, so it's just going to get stuck. However, I have hand combed these multiple times, ran them through the drum carder multiple times, have hand carded them again, and as you can see, like, I'm still finding vegetable matter. And maybe I'm just being a little too picky about it, but I want to give you guys the best product that I can. So, and also myself, because I want it to be enjoyable and I want to produce the best product that I can. So these are just little pieces of roving that I pulled off my hand combs. And so now I'm going to run them through my drum carder as I check them out first. Just, you know, pick out anything else that I can find with my tweezers here. You know, these pieces are extremely small. You probably can't even see them on camera, but I see them. So since I see them, any little neps or noils, I don't know the difference between those. I need to look it up. Some people call them neps, some people call them noils. I don't know the difference. But any little small pieces that would just, you know, make spinning not as enjoyable, I just want to make sure that I get out as I can see them. Processing fleece just takes forever. If you're into this hobby, then you know that nothing is fast about it. Between spinning and crocheting or knitting or felting, nothing is fast. And that's one of the things that I love about it. But when I'm trying to get fiber together for you guys to dye it up so I can make some gorgeous stuff for you guys, it's kind of annoying. I was really hoping that after I hand combed these and ran them through the drum carder, I would be good, but that was not the case. But that's okay, because what we're getting is so gorgeous that it's worth it. So yeah, so I'm going to run this through the drum carder, and I'm going to make a bat. And from that bat, I'm going to pull roving because I want to get a bunch of stuff dyed up. So I thought I'd take you guys along. So I open it up and spread it out like I can. You don't want to pull as you're feeding it through because it'll just wrap around the liquor here. So I just kind of push it along, give it a little help. And there you go. And when you're carding, with the drum carder, I try to put, you can't see it, maybe, yeah, there you go. I try to just use like 3 fingers, because if I use my whole hand, I find that I let too much fiber get in here and it can damage the teeth. And this is a really old carder. I got it secondhand. I have no idea how old it is, but it is a Louet, or Louet. I don't know how to say it, but it is older. It's been heavily used, so I try to be gentle with it. So let's get another little rolag here. I'm sorry, another little piece of roving here. Pick out anything that I can just see. I don't know how there's anything left in here because, like I said, it has been processed so many times. Hoping this is the last time. Well, until I, you know, dye it up and then blend it and turn it into bats and roving and all that good stuff. But as far as prepping it before dyeing, I hope this will be the last time that I have to. And I had thought about turning a lot of this into comb top because I found that when I was processing it, it did better combed than carded, because I tried both ways, and carded with hand carders is what I mean. But I have a homemade hackle and it doesn't hold a ton of fiber, so I think going drum carding route is just going to be the best for me personally with this fiber. And every fiber is different. I have learned that every one of them is different. So open it up, put it through. There you go. And actually, I noticed 2 tines here are bent. So, like I said, this is older and I'm still, you know, trying to use something that has been heavily used. So sometimes there's a little bit of maintenance that I have to do. Looking good, looking good. To take my dog brush here. I do have, this is the packer brush that came with my drum carder. It's great, but this covers so much more area. So I get this on Amazon. There are links to it below. if you want to check it out. And I hold it backwards, that way the tines are going with the tines here, and it just pushes it down. Okay, so now we're going to take our diz, which these are available in my website and Etsy shop, and threader. I like to use this hole or this hole when I'm pulling roving. Anything smaller is just a little bit too small for my preference, or you can use this big daddy here, whatever works for you. Now as you use the threader, it will start to get misshapen, but that's okay, it still works. So we're going to just take our doffer here and break up the amount of roving we want to pull at a time. And then we're just going to take our threader, open it up, put it around the roving. I'm sorry, what am I doing? Put it through the hole. Open it up, pull it through, and then I like to just kind of pull it, and there we go. Now, as you're using this, you're going to push down and pull up. Push down, pull up, push down, pull up, push down, pull up, push down, and just continue that. And if you're not getting all of this, that's okay. We can make another pass. Pull up, push down, pull up, push down. And you're just going to continue this. And if you find it's getting a little too thin, you can pull up a little bit more fiber so it will kind of push that through the hole so it can grab. And you can also push it away from you to grab more of that other line. And this is a slow process. If you go too fast, your roving will get too full or too thin, which is what has happened here. So now I've got to kind of work to get that back to the size that I want here. So there we go. That's more what I'm looking for. Back on track. You really do need to work slow, as with most things in fiber. Now if you're getting too full and too thick, just kind of pull it back towards you and get away from those other lines. This is more the size roving I was after. And we're getting a little bit thinner again, so if we need to sort of pull up some of this fiber from the bottom, so it can start grabbing that lower layer some more. And just kind of stuff it through the hole. It'll start to grab. Definitely takes practice. I'm not the best at it, for sure. I do prefer pulling comb to top. So comb top roving from the hackles. I find it easier, but I also have not been using my drum carder all that long, so I like the length that I can get with the drum carder versus my homemade hackle. So just trying to get better at using it. Now I'm going to, because of where I'm filming, I can't put my little thing that's catching the roving where I want it, so it's kind of going over this liquor. That's not going to work. I'm going to move my box here. I was trying to avoid moving it because I don't have very much space, but it's what I have to do to keep it off the liquor. We're getting a little bit thin again for my taste. Pick off that little piece of vegetable matter there. So I'm just going to push a little bit more through. There we go. Now we're going to start getting thinner since there's not nearly as much fiber on here. That's just how it goes. I'm going to push a little bit more through so it'll be a little thicker. Now we still have all of this fiber here that didn't get picked up. So you've got a couple of options. You can just pull it off into a little bat, or you can kind of raise it up a little bit. so it can start to catch. And I'm going to also snap it there so I can pull it through. You can use the threader or some needle nose tweezers here. Just kind of get it to catch. There we go. So now we're going to go the opposite way of how we did before. So before we were pushing it away from us, like working our way away from us, and now we're going to work our way towards us. And just try to catch what of this fiber we can. And as I'm working, I'm pulling more towards me to try to get some of these other rows. And this is really not wanting to come up. So I'm going to take my doffer and kind of just raise these up just a little bit to get them off the bottom so that's easier for them to get grabbed. Back this up a little bit, and I'm going to push a little bit more through so I can start grabbing, and raise some of this up just a little bit, not too high like that. It's kind of hard, just kind of wanting to raise it just a tiny bit. And this part is not wanting to cooperate with me. So normally I would just raise it up some and either pull it off as a little tiny bat or use a smaller hole on the diz. Fiber's fiber, and sometimes it cooperates and sometimes it doesn't, but since I have more of this to card, I'm just going to leave this on here and add more to it. No big deal.